Welcome to Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma. Now the moon is full in Pisces and Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on Saturday the 10th of September. So I thought rather than let the messages get lost in astrological translation, it'd be better if we sat cross-legged in my room with a candle in our jammies and I gave you a good old-fashioned tarot reading instead. Let's drop into our intuition. Let's explore dreamland together and let's get Pisces. Let's get psychic. If you'd like to support the work, you can always head over to buymeacoffee.com/UmaRuby and put some money in the tip jar. But other than that, relax and let's see what happens. Okay, Aries, we need to talk about your self-sufficiency. We need to talk about your ability to take care of yourself. I have a feeling that you've had some really crossed words. There's been two perspectives on the way that things should go or could go when it comes to your ability to generate an income or to take care of yourself financially. And you've been met with a really domineering energy. There's been someone who has held up their sword of truth to you and has really read you the riot act and told you what needs to happen in your life. You've met that energy with just as much caustic energy. You've been really brash in the way that you've expressed yourself, and you have almost come at loggerheads. Both your swords are up, yours and this other person's. I'm getting like Aquarius, Libra, Gemini energy. It doesn't have to be any of those signs, but think about somebody who really works from the brain. And that's actually where you're working from too. Think about Gemini. That's your third house. That's the way that you communicate, all right? And sometimes you can be really cold in the way that you transpose information. And this has happened. And this is really going to be quite difficult to reconcile. I think that what you need to do is listen to the Queen in a lot of ways. The Queen trumps you in this scenario. You're represented here as the Knight. And the Queen is someone, remember, that is working from empathy. It might be difficult to realize that at this moment because it does feel so harsh and brutal, this space of honesty that they're approaching you with. But I think you should remember that you asked. That's something that's really quite clear here. There's something about your current systems and the way that you're operating and the way that you are wanting to sow in order to reap, that you asked for this advice or this help or this assistance, and now you have to sit with the answer or the answers. I don't think that this is a moment for you to be butting heads with anyone at the moment. This is really reminding me of that Mercury position in retrograde that's happening in Libra right now. When Mercury goes retrograde, what we have to do, it's a great time to reassess and to go over and to think before we speak again and again. The way that we transpose information or messages or truth to one another really needs to be gone over with a fine-tooth comb. And you really need to consider if you're working from a place of justified truth-telling, or if there's sharpness to the way that you're expressing yourself, if you're being vindictive. Libra is your seventh house. That's your relationships. That's your nearest and dearest. That's your contracts in love and also in business and in soulmates. So think about, who is this and who are you fighting with here? And it's got to do with your coin. It's got to do with your money, your cash, your ability to accrue abundance. That's really where you want to be. And I think that's where both of you want you to be, is in a space of independence, in a space where you've got enough and you've worked really hard and you're growing and building everything around you. I think that we're skipping too many steps here is what I see, Aries. We're skipping way too many steps. You've started at the Ace and you've dived into wanting to be the 9 already. Where's the middle bit? Where's the middle ground? Where's that growing space? There's hard work that needs to be done, and I don't suggest for a moment that you're not a hard worker. That's impossible to suggest of an Aries. But what I do suggest is that you're perhaps being too impatient, or you're being too illogical with how you perceive that you're going to carry on and to generate and to maintain. The world has changed very much in the last couple of years, and I think that we all really need to sit soberly in that knowing. The way that we used to rely on ourselves and the way that we used to generate money, and what we didn't think about before in terms of what it was that, you know, our responsibility with bureaucracy, you know, all of that stuff. It's changed. We've got to localize in a lot of ways. And perhaps some of the swings and roundabouts and fancy, footloose and fancy free ways that we could exist in years gone by really can't exist anymore. It's sobering and uncomfortable when we can see what alternative work has to be done. And sometimes we really just have to do the work. I'm going to put you some more cards and we'll see where else this is going. Spirit, what can you tell me about Aries and their independence? What's going on here? I got the Hermit. Good. Well, that shows me that you've been working with the Virgo energy, I think, Aries. Use this time to get practical about your rhythms and your routine and how you're spending your day. I got the Hanged one too. That's Pisces energy. It's good for this full moon. Ten of Wands in reverse and Judgment in reverse. Yeah. You've got the energy for it, Aries. And look, you can be unconventional and successful. And to be successful doesn't mean that you're rich. It's simply a matter of how your days are spent and what you're focusing on and how much you've got in your pocket to be able to sustain that lifestyle. What I feel here and what I see here is that you've been bluntly met with someone's advice that has said you're pissing it up the wall, or you're gargling it down the drain, or you don't have enough flint to start another fire. So do this instead, or I've organized this, or you need to do this. All of that, all of those actions, all of that language is going to be like throwing a bucket of water on a cat for you. You hate that, Aries. Don't you freaking tell me what to do. I'm hearing you and I'm feeling you now. You need to use this full moon in Pisces to really go deeper and to really think about what your life is going to look like from here on in. You don't want to be beholden to anybody else, and yet you've found yourself in a position where you are, and you can't resent those people that have taken care of it for you so far. You can't resent them. And I don't suspect that there is any retraction of support or retraction of you know, food and shelter, whatever it is. But you're not on the right perspective. There's a cloudiness here, Aries, that you need to see clearly. You need to put your glasses on, because at the moment you're really living a half-lived life. There's bits of you, there's things that you want to express, parts of your very soul, your very inner being that are being stymied or being shut off, being cut out in order to appease, I don't know if it's the people around you or if it's to enable this sort of delusion that you're existing in. But you've got so much energy still after everything that has presented itself to you over this last bit of time. You've got this fire, but I don't understand why you haven't stacked the wood properly yet. Like, it's just sparks here and there. It's just like you've got a box of matches, but you've not built a pyre yet to keep yourself warm. And you've got the skills to do that, and you've got the ability to instigate. But what are you hanging on to that just doesn't exist anymore? What kind of persona, what perception of yourself, or what perception are you thinking that other people have of you that you need to maintain? What mask are you wearing? Because you just need to drop it. You know what's best for you. Actually, maybe you don't. You're choosing to ignore that. Help me out, Spirit. I need some more cards. What is this block for Aries? They're so good at charging forward. They're so good at knowing and using their intelligence wisely and communicating. What's happening here? What are they leaving out? What's happened? I got the Two of Cups in reverse. Okay, so there's something here about loss, and there's something here about your emotions, Aries, that perhaps needs some soothing, because we're talking about all this brain stuff, and we're talking about all of this earth practical pentacle stuff. This is the only water card that's come out. If you're going to you're maybe holding off from reconnecting or connecting with a beloved, with someone that you really care about, because of this hole in your back pocket, because it's just dripping out again. Or maybe it's something about, well, God, what am I trying to say with this one? I'd be mindful of how you're communicating and what you're going to say next, Aries. I know that there's heaps in there, and there's heaps of stuff to rediscover, or things to say sorry for, or actually even things to really just let go of. But you're not connected to your water, you're not connected to your heart, you're not connected to your feelings. It's all brain, and it's all passion, it's all spot fires. But how are you really feeling? What are you worried? What are you feeling in your heart, babe? What sadness is there, or what loss, or one more, please, Spirit. I got the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So yeah, you're really out of balance. Think about what that Queen of Swords said to you that hurt so much. Think about that argument that you had, or the sentence, or think about the truth as a blade. What was the deepest cut for you? And really investigate why that is. Because I suspect that this argument, this altercation, is not coming from someone who wishes to hurt you, but they're wishing to wake you up and to get your nervous system back on track enough so you can feel some of this pain. If you're out of step with someone and you're holding off from connecting with them, and you're unleashing outwards on other people or your life or yourself, that I'd really suggest that you stop doing, Aries. I wonder if you were to write it out. And I wonder if you were to send it off at this Pisces full moon. There's one thing that we can know and take away with us, with Pisces bearing down on us so brightly, is that we are all feeling the same thing. I don't even know if any of that made sense. But I tell you what, Aries, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. All my love to you, and all of my very best heartfelt wishes to you. I'm sorry that you're feeling so desperate right now. I think that you really do need to look out and to really reconsider who's in your life that is supporting you, and who is in your life that is dragging you down or keeping you at a place where you just don't need to be anymore. You need to cut off some of those anchors so you can swim up. All right. Take care.